All right, folks, I'm going to go over some set collection I've been doing. This is actually kind of what got me back into Magic. There was a big hiatus for me. I came back in 2018. Let me see if I can zoom out just a little bit. Um, Basically, I was a huge fan of the Mirage Visions Weatherlight block. The art was amazing to me. I was coming off the heels of, 4th edition, Ice Age, Alliances. The game was in full swing. They were changing the formats around. A lot of the classic cards couldn't be played anymore, so you had to acquire these new cards. So I'm going to start out with the first set that I completed of this block, which was Weatherlight, and just kind of go over, all the cards. They're in alphabetical order per color, starting with white. And I really don't know what the true order of the colors are. I've actually just gone based on clockwise, based on the mana symbols on the back of the Magic cards. I went white, blue, black, red, green, and that's typically how the websites do it too. These cards have spiked tremendously since I started gathering all this stuff back in 2018, just due to the fact that we have reserve list cards that are either really good or just kind of meh. And because of that, you're going to see a lot of buyouts. You're going to see there's nothing on the reserve list. Doesn't matter what the set is. Everything in the reserve list is at least $1. It used to be, 10-cent bulk rares, but now all of a sudden, you can't get it without spending money, which is fine. I'm glad that they can't reprint this anymore. Sometimes it's because of certain artists, certain cards, like the text on the card, the art on the card. So hey, there's a good one, Pendulum Miss. And so if they do reprint some of these cards from the set, they'll end up using different art, which is fine. But yeah, this is the complete set of Weatherlight. And I think, in my personal opinion, outside the Urza's block, this Weatherlight set has some of the most powerful land cycles outside fetches, outside the Urza lands. And again, this all came before all that. There were no fetch lands. There were no, Gaia Cradles, Talarian Academies, stuff like that. So really, really cool. I've actually pulled Firestorm. And actually, some of, I had to buy a lot of this stuff. I'd say I had to buy probably 30 of the rares in here. It just came, it's one of those things where you could open up a box, especially with this was the, Mirage was the head of the block, and then you had Visions, I missed the block format. And that was where, this set was only maybe 180 cards. I don't even know if that's a true number, but there wasn't that many. And so buying a box of this stuff, you could literally acquire all the cards, pretty much. I mean, you're not going to get tons of duplicates of the rares, but, you're going to acquire a lot. So anyways, I store these. I know people are going to freak out. They're in these like round rings, but I actually store them suspended up in the air. So gravity does the work, but it all just hangs. It's in a filing cabinet. This was actually one of my favorite cards to play, Well of Knowledge. I thought it was fair. It gave everybody a shot. I actually had Dole Rod this entire time in my collection, just unsleeved, just in like a plastic cube kind of carrying thing. Had no clue it was that good. I mean, back then, the artifacts were not so great, but now because of Commander, and Legacy, Vintage... Oh, here's the land cycle I was talking about. Gemstone Mine, Lotus Vale, Scorched Ruins, Winding Canyons. Really awesome. Really awesome. So that is the complete set of Weatherlight, and actually, filming of this video, this card is actually, this uncommon here is spiked to like $9 to $10. It's just never been reprinted. All right, so that is Weatherlight. What's next, folks? Da-da-da. This one here. Oh, we're looking at Visions. Okay, so Visions was the second one I completed. I started with the smaller stuff. I had the most Weatherlight, and this was actually the least valuable of the three. And the art, it's the same art style, art direction. They had the same art director. But they didn't include, with Weatherlight, they started the Gerard storyline with the Weatherlight and the whole crew, which are still being used today. You still got Karn. I mean, Mirage brought in a lot of characters like Teferi and the whole, all the different islands and all that stuff, which they kind of brought them back in the story with Core 21. And now with Dominaria United coming this fall, I figured, hey, this would be a good time. They just, as the filming of this video, they just released the first previews and spoilers of that set. And I'm really hyped because I grew up with this plane. I grew up with, Dominaria, and it was just all the characters. But eventually, you have to branch out. This was, oh, shit, I guess I'm missing, oh, yeah, that's why. I'm missing Desolation. It's actually in my Turgid deck. So I don't actually have it in the full set. I only have one copy. I do have it, but it's in my Turgid Commander deck. This pretty much is the whole set right here. Vamp Tutor, the original. I had a poster of this, and I lost it. I think it kind of got nicked. It was just like the art. There's like a preview of, hey, this is Visions. Am I missing this card? I guess I am missing this card. I guess I don't have the complete set. My bad. I'm gonna have to figure out what that card is and basically go get it. Flanking still used in this set. I miss flanking. In fact, I wish they made a thing where it took off counters. Like, you attack, if you block with something with counters, it removes the counters. I think that'd be kind of a cool ability. Summer Bloom just got reprinted in Double Masters. I think this is a really cool card. Same thing with Breast Stealer's Crypt. Anvil, I think that's the second most expensive card. This is one of my favorite cards, just lore, art. I'll go ahead and read it. Okay, so Squandered Resources, green and a black, enchantment, sack a land, add to your mana pool 1 mana of any type the sacrifice land could produce. Play this ability as a mana source. But the really cool thing is the flavor text. I just love flavor text. He traded sand for skins, skins for gold, gold for life. In the end, he traded life for sand. Afari Tales. So they had this thing going on where, of course the internet was around, but 56K, really slow. And in order for you to really, Griffin Canyon, Undiscovered Paradise. Anyways, in order for you to really know what a deck was all about, you had to pretty much travel your area or go play at like the biggest stores in the area. And a lot of times people were playing jank because that's all they knew how to play. It was fun to play. There's no net decks. There's no getting online and people figuring it out. There's no MTGO. There's no arena. And that, I miss those days, but you can't go back to that, especially with spoiler season and all that kind of stuff. So it's, it's classic Magic right now. I mean, like, what you might think is bad might actually be good, and you just don't know it because you just aren't exposed to it. And you see someone else dominating in another store. They created a brew. They just don't tell the world about it online. And then they don't, they can only expose their smaller playgroup area, So anyways, I'll go back to talking about the cards. Anyway, so I don't have the complete set of Visions, or Mirage yet. We're on Mirage. It is the biggest. It's 300. As you can see, I'm missing that. I don't know all the cards I'm missing. Obviously, I'm missing the big one, the big boy, Lion's Eye Diamond. Let me pull this down a little bit more so you can see all the cards. This is the bigger. This is the one that even included starter decks. It has the basic lands. I'm missing, a few of these white cards. I've gotten most of the expensive stuff in here. This has a ton of reserve list cards that are like $1 or $2. Misty Tutor. If you don't, I might have actually been using some of these cards in EDH decks, but I just can't think of it right now. I know that one was in Turgid. Dark Ritual, it still got the reprint. After this block was Tempest, and that's when the power level got really, it got bumped after this. So you know, those cards are worth a lot more because they're obviously a lot more powerful stuff, but this is really cool here. Withering Boon, pay 3 life, counter target creature spell. 1 and a black. So it's not every day black can counter spells, and I think that breaks the color pie, and I don't know if they want black to do that, but hey, they made a card and I got one. Missing some red. I've actually, what I do when I try to gather these sets, I try to either trade for them, you know, bulk for bulk, whatever. I basically try to go after the stuff that would cost me more in shipping in person. So I'll go to game stores and basically try to pull all their near mint copies of like the stuff that's $1 or less, like the commons, the uncommons, bulk rares, and try to get that. And then for the stuff that's, you know, $5 or more, I start heading online and trying to find the best, cheapest near mint copies. I don't bother with graded. I actually have a few natural balances. Rampant Growth, also been reprinted a bunch, but really good card. Seeds of Innocence here, bury all artifacts for 3 mana, you know? And then you gain a bunch of life for the people that had them. Worldly Tutor. So yeah, really cool. I'm missing Lion's Eye Diamond. I do have the Phyrexian Dreadnought, we'll see it. I really like this card, Unfulfilled Desires. I love D. Alexander Gregory's art. You can also tell some of these artists, either it was before, you know, we got Rebecca Gay, they were in the infancy of their careers, and their art style, in fact, has actually improved. Actually, you know, I'm like, hey, that's cool, you know. I want to say Margaret Oregon Keene was the art director. I'm not entirely sure, though. Nothing's worth, you know, okay, there's the Dreadnought. That's diamonds. Then we got the basics. I love this Sunset Island here from Douglas Schuler. And then I'll move this over here, all the basics. Okay, so that's what I'm missing from Mirage. Fortunately, I don't have the full set. When I do get the full set, I will definitely make a video of my completion, but that, a lot of history for me playing this set. It's when I began, and hey, it's nostalgia. And so hope you enjoyed the little window to the Mirage Visions Weatherlight block, and I'll make some more videos for you guys later.